Welcome to the Secret Podcast with my mother, Carmen Miller. In this week's episode of Super Alter Egos, see how Get Her Done Girl neutralizes her kryptonite, the evil, never-ending to-do list.
If you read or listened to my previous episode, you might remember that one of my super alter egos is Get Her Done Girl, but the evil, never-ending to-do list was her kryptonite. If it's not on a list, it doesn't exist. So let's discuss the evil, never-ending to-do list. So Ricky Reality Check just popped in to make sure I tell you that I do still have a to-do list. And yes, Ricky, it is still multiple pages long. And yes, when you turn your back, even for a second, it still multiplies like rabbits. But there's always a big but, and it's usually mine. I realized something important about the evil, never-ending to-do list. Not everything on it was a need to do. A lot of it was a want to do. And some of it was performative. And remember, we perform to be valued and have self-worth, even though we are all born worthy. So it's the lens we view the list through that really matters. Things exist on our list for different reasons. And you can always channel, I have questions, girl or guy, and ask why. Why is this on my list? Am I chasing a squirrel? That simple question turned into a system for me. I started thinking about my list in 3 categories. 1, what truly needed to be done, what I needed to do. Number 2, what I wanted to do. And number 3 was, am I doing this just to perform or prove something? And then I used my prioritization power to choose the top 3 things that actually mattered. And I gave myself permission to let everything else just exist for now. All this to say that you too can neutralize your evil, never-ending to-do list by asking questions and viewing things on your list through a different lens. For me, asking why strengthened my prioritization power. Prioritization is a superpower I've always had, but it's much more effective when I ask why. Because asking why and walking it back and connecting the emotional dots helped me narrow my list down to the top 3 things I truly wanted to lean into. And this led to my discovery of Epiphany Girl. And as for all the other stuff on my list, yes, it's still there, but I look at it differently now. Some things I just don't want to forget. They've become exciting possibilities instead of soul-crushing pressures. I noticed that as the list started to feel better, I felt less overwhelmed, I felt more motivated, and it felt doable again. Proof that a little reframing can go a long way. And after identifying the top 3 things on my list, I decided to surrender everything else and be open to what was meant for me. I trusted that what was mine will not pass me by, and I decided to allow. I opened myself up to the things on my list or something better. So what do I mean by this? Let's look at it this way. When we're married to a specific outcome, we seem to overlook how that can box us in. Remember Captain Control? Control is fear-based. So what if there was a better outcome that we hadn't even imagined waiting for us, better than whatever we have on our list? But we miss it because we're too busy. We're too busy herding our outcomes like cattle into very specific pens and boxes. So if we just let them graze in openness, no telling what could have happened or what they could have evolved into. Let flow surprise you instead. Now, we met Flo in the last episode when I radically surrendered all my outcomes, relieved Captain Control of his duty, yes, I said duty, and let go of fear. I wanted to be open to what was truly meant for me, and that's when I met Flo. And she has been full of surprises, and what she brought was so much better, stronger, and aligned than anything that Captain Control and I ever tried to cook up, plan, or force. And it all came with so much more ease than I have ever experienced before. Once I let Flo take over, I started to notice that the things I initially planned were being replaced with things that carried more purpose and depth. The foundation of my to-do list shifted from performance and fear to alignment. For instance, I plan to write a new children's book that I'm still very excited about, but there's that big but again. It just didn't happen. After using my prioritization power, I could see that it clearly belonged lower on the list. And I did feel sad about it, but I processed that and I didn't wallow in the wallows. A few months later, while writing an activity set for our L365 superhero kit, Synchronicity much? I wrote a different children's book without even realizing it. The book is essentially our origin story of why we started L365. It's called The Bad Kid. I'm going to patch in Drew's cover design so you can see it. It will be out in a few months. Remember, no hardcore timelines, and the sadness I felt from not doing the other book was replaced with the excitement and depth of this one. I knew immediately that this book was far more important right now than the one I originally intended to write. Thank you, Flo. And I watched my list shift every week, sometimes every few days, until finally the top 3 priorities for my long game were crystal clear. There's Crystal again. Rarely had I ever seen Crystal before, but man, she was spot on, and there wasn't a squirrel in sight. Now, this doesn't mean that Get Her Done Girl never has hiccups. She does. But when that happens, I ask why. I walk it back. I connect the emotional dots and I trust. Trust that what is mine will not pass me by, and I take it one day at a time. The past is a wonderful reference, especially for healing, but we don't live there. The future holds incredible opportunities that we cannot even fathom, but we're not there yet. There will never be another today, so don't give it away. It's your gift. It's your time to be present, and you are more than a to-do list, and you were born worthy. And as Granddad always used to say, now there's some sense to that. Until next time, wishing you much love and laughter.